Hello, I'm Jake, Mr. Jake, and I'd like to discuss Michael Bay's Transformers movies. I'm sure you haven't noticed this, but I'm a huge fan of the Transformers. This is my cat, Megatron. My other cat, Starscream, is not here at the moment. That was a bit of a coward. Or maybe you have noticed it. Either way, now that Age of Extinction has hit the theaters, it's time I gave you an overview of this movie franchise as a whole. Now, considering that I'm a fan of the original G1 1980s Transformers cartoon, you probably think that I would like nothing better than to take this here kitchen knife and plunge it directly into the gut of Michael Bay, and then pull out his intestines and wrap them around his neck, hang him by his own intestines from the Statue of Liberty after having painted the Statue of Liberty red and blue in the colors of Starscream. Or the colors of Optimus Prime, if you're an Autobot fan. However, I have no intention of ever doing that. You see, I like Michael Bay. I think he's a fantastic director, and his first Transformers movie was in fact pretty damn good. Excuse me. Hello. Yes? What do you mean that my membership in the G1 Transformers fan club has been revoked? So let me just give a quick overview of the first 3 films in this series. Most agree that these movies are shit, but I beg to differ. I think the first is a good movie, while the other 2 are simply disappointing. Okay, very disappointing. But it's not even Michael Bay's fault, it's the fault of the screenwriters. The first movie in the series worked as an introduction to the Transformers. It was fun, and it was just plain satisfying to see Optimus Prime on the big screen, as well as see Starscream tear an entire squadron of fighter jets to pieces all by himself. It had all the things you need from a mindless summer action movie about giant robots. Explosions, carnage, explosions, giant robots, explosions, Peter Cullen's voice as Optimus Prime, explosions, juvenile humor, and, of course, most importantly, explosions. There were, of course, things that were not very good in it. For starters, the Transformers were barely in it, and they lacked characterization, especially the Decepticons who barely interacted with each other in the film. Megatron and Starscream shared the frame once for about 5 seconds, and that was it. There was in general far too much focus on the human characters, and not enough on the robots. Finally, the biggest problem of the movie was that Megatron was not voiced by the right actor. Yes, Hugo Weaving is a phenomenal actor, and he has shown in V for Vendetta that he can voice act just fine, but he's not Megatron. Frank Welker is Megatron, and he should have been there to be Peter Cullen's counterpart. These 2 are like yin and yang. You should not pull them apart. But even with these problems, the movie was fun. Yes, it's dumb and plays up stereotypes, but it's still fun, so I liked it. The sequels I did not like at all. I see the first movie as an origin story, and what I wanted from the sequels was to focus on the Transformers and sideline the human characters. That did not happen, nor did we get proper characterization of the Transformers. Also, the stories kind of fell flat, especially the last one that so horribly underuses several of the Decepticons. For starters, Shockwave is barely in it, and he's not even purple. Why isn't he purple? And while we're here, why are all the Decepticons so bland looking? And why is Mr. Spock quoting a line of his from Wrath of Khan in it? Anyway, the point here is that the Transformers movie franchise has been on a steady downward slope since the beginning due to bad writing. And so, I had no expectations of Transformers 4. I didn't even want to go see it. But then I went to the cinema to watch something else, and I saw this giant cardboard cutout of Optimus Prime riding a fire-breathing robot dinosaur while wielding a fucking sword. And then I knew that I had to go watch this movie. And now that I have what are my thoughts, it was pretty damn good. In fact, I say fuck all the critics because this movie is the best in the franchise to date. To begin with, we finally get Frank Welker voicing Galvatron in the movie, which alone was reason enough for me to go watch it. Furthermore, we have much better characterization than ever before. The robots get much more screen time. We get to see our lead villain Lockdown quite early in the film, and he makes a very memorable impression. He's a badass bounty hunter with a very complex personality and the ability to turn his face into a cannon. That's pretty cool. Galvatron also makes an appearance in the movie, but unfortunately he's not in it very long. We do get to see and hear Galvatron going one-on-one with Optimus Prime, which is great. What is not so great is that he is not purple. I don't know what is up with all this hatred of purple, but this is the second time they fuck up the colors on a purple Decepticon. Here, have a look at this. This is what Galvatron is supposed to look like. Only bigger. Now the Transformers get a lot more screen time than ever before, but they still don't dominate the film. There's a roughly equal focus on the human characters, some of which are very memorable, such as Kelsey Grammer's corrupt CIA agent or Stanley Tucci's eccentric billionaire, or our lead Mark Wahlberg who plays the mechanic who repairs Optimus Prime. We get the usual scantily clad woman as well, only this time it's neither Megan Fox nor Jason Statham's girlfriend, rather it's someone called Nicola Peltz, whoever she may be. Don't pretend that you know who she is. You didn't know who Megan Fox was before Transformers 1 either. As for the action, it's a Michael Bay movie and the man delivers what we want from him. Glorious amounts of carnage, mayhem, and explosions. At one point in the movie, Lockdown enters a battle by jumping off his ship onto a building, firing rockets at it before landing on it, and as part of the building is torn off by the rockets, he pretty much uses it to surf into the battle on the flames of the explosions. It's awesome. And for all the critics out there who didn't like this film, remember, in this movie, Optimus Prime rides a giant fire-breathing robot T-Rex while wielding a giant fucking badass sword. Your argument is invalid. So to summarize, the live-action Transformers franchise seems to be improving. Age of Extinction is way better than the disappointing Revenge of the Fallen, or the even more disappointing Dark of the Moon. And I dare say it's even better than the first film. It's a fun, turn your brain off and have a good time kind of movie that finally does the Transformers justice. More or less. It's not perfect, but I highly recommend it, especially for those of you who like destruction porn. Destruction porn. Is there such a genre? Well, if there wasn't one, Michael Bay just invented it and we should all be grateful to him. And now, to celebrate, I'm going to watch the entire first season of the G1 cartoon in my Megatron t-shirt, and I do recommend that you do the same.